So, let's sort of take a look at things from this. The England innings put into bat. They had a run at it, and yeah, they had a decent go. Jos Buttler, 29 from 25, was really threatening to cut loose, but was dismissed. Harry Brook made a good 20 before getting one that nipped back onto the pads and that rolled onto his stumps. Sam Curran, 49 not out from 35. So, decent first outing in this series, you would say, Harmy?
Yeah, absolutely. For the winter to get off to a start, I think England's game plan was good, really good. I think it was designed to bat around Jos Buttler. I think it was a very, very tricky surface to bat in the power play, especially against somebody like skill sets and the quality of Matt Henry with the ball, who bowled beautifully. And England, Salt went hard at it. Bethel came in, went hard at it. Brook followed the game plan of, well, we're going to have to bat around Jos, so he continued the I'm going hard at it from a game plan point of view, very selfless innings. And it was all set up for that grandstand finish, potentially for Buttler to be there at the end. And how many times on a flat pitch you'd see a Buttler turn 29 from 25 into sort of 75, 80 off 48 balls, and that's the match-winning score. And as it happened, it came down to Sam Curran, who I thought played a very intelligent innings towards the end of the 20 overs. He bided his time. He knew the two bowlers to go at from 15 to 20, which was one from Duffy and one from Jamieson. Jamieson bowled an absolute beauty of a 19th over, and he waited and he waited and he bided his time, and he waited on the Duffy over, which I think he was the one that he was going to capitalise on. And boy did he got 19 off it. So I think from a game plan point of view, I think it was there for England on a surface which wasn't conducive to hitting through the line of the ball.
Steve Harmison, the former England fast bowler, is with us on the Following On podcast, as is Craig Cumming, the former New Zealand top order batter. Craig, from let's analyse the England top order batting first and foremost. You kind of know what you're going to get from them. Did you feel that New Zealand did enough, if you like, to try and prevent it? The first over, for anyone who wasn't with us in the commentary, was hooping around all over the place and at very good pace. So it certainly did plenty early doors.
Count it. Like, even from a batting point of view, I think England will be pleased because you haven't played cricket for a while and you do feel rusty, and getting out, you can have as many bats in the nets. It's about getting used to the match tempo. And what I was impressed was they really were just 1 over away from being above par. And when you look at key moments, New Zealand were able to pick up wickets, but Brook got out and they just stolen momentum. Now, if him and Buttler had got going then and had a bigger partnership, 180 was on the cards. And now 180 on the surface, what we saw. But from a bowling point of view, and you turn up the first over, you're playing white ball, 20-20, you're seeing the ball nip around. Sometimes that can even confuse yourself and go, well, here I was going to have some change-ups. Matt Henry is outstanding. He's world class. Sometimes you can change. You can also, well, what am I meant to do here? So I think New Zealand would have been pretty satisfied. They're probably 1 wicket away from that end to, getting Curran out, but they had opportunities. They'll be a little bit disappointed, a bit sloppy in the field. But I thought, overall, I think England will be satisfied. They said, yep, we've been able to get a hit out. What impressed me is actually their ability to adjust. They weren't just a one-pace go out, and we know that the way that, even the test teams talked about, they looked like they're Justin Buttler was there, you're right. I mean, he said, right, actually I'm going to adjust to conditions here and we're going to set ourselves up. And as I said, they're 1 over away from maybe getting 165. Now, I reckon at half-time, 165 on that surface you would have been pretty happy with. But it sets up an exciting series. This pitch should get better, I'd say. Another day off tomorrow, roller on it, bit of sun hopefully. And then, it might be a better, I suppose, competition between bat and ball, but overall it was entertaining. I love seeing the ball nib around and not just being one pace hitting.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I think the pressure you're under as a bowler when it is nipping around, because then you are under pressure to take wickets, you're under pressure to keep the scoring rate down, and we are playing, remember, a T20 game where the batters are going to come at you. And I think sometimes in this contest, many times I've stood there, because when I was bowling, I tended not to bowl the first 4 overs. I'd bowl the 5th or the 6th, which would be the one outside the power play. Maybe it's an 8 or 9, which is the moving overs towards the start. And then my job would be possibly a 14 and a 16 or a 15 and a 17th over, to try and take a wicket before the actual onslaught towards the end come. That was the job of the fast bowler, and many times as an experienced bowler I'd stand there, especially in domestic stuff, to the younger opening bowler and say, take the batter out of the equation. Take the batter out of the equation. Look at the area you're trying to bowl, and at the end of the day, whatever he does, he's not on this surface. If the ball's doing a bit, he's not good enough to compete with you. So take it out of the equation. Now, Matt Henry does that anyway. He is so good. He wouldn't be bothered if Phil Salt's running at him, Joss Butler's running at him, or staying back in the crease. I think Duffy, after his first over, I think he had a bit of a struggle on what length to bowl on this. I think Kyle Jamieson, for the first 3 overs, I think he struggled with letting go of the ball. I don't think he was confident of letting go of the ball, whether it was up or back. And I think sometimes in them situations, you do try and take the batter out of the equation and say, well, whatever he's doing, he's the one high risk. Normally in a T20 flat contest, balls going all around the park, you're the one that's trying to change up as a bowler to take a high risk. And I thought New Zealand bowled quite nicely at that, and I thought England played to them conditions very, very well. So it was a different type of T20 contest, and I think it'll be a different type again, because as much as the pitch might get better, I think it'll still have that little bit in it. And the intriguing part of who had the best of that first 20 overs, I think it was going to show, because when you look at England's bowlers, Luke Wood is not a hit the pitch bowler and used the seam. Bryden Carse is, Sam Curran isn't. So it would have been a pitch-up swing type thing for England. But actually the pitch-up swing coming onto the bat might have been quite nice for New Zealand batters to face. So that's why I was quite intrigued on not only where this contest was going, but actually how England were going to bowl on that pitch.
Well, unfortunately, the contest was curtailed by the rain, and shortly after it was officially called off, Harry Brook spoke with the TV company.
Harry, the wicket, how did you find it today, mate?
Yeah, it did a little bit to start with. Obviously, their bowlers are very experienced with the new ball, Matt Henry especially, and he made most of that surface.
Tell me, you've got a power pack batting lineup. Do the conditions dictate the way you play, or do you tend to play in the same sort of method?
Yeah, pretty much. We obviously want to adapt to the situation and the surface, but with the depth in batting that we've got, I feel like we can go hard all the way throughout. And we've got some extremely powerful and talented players in the squad. So if we don't get off to the start that we want, we can always accelerate at the end.
Anything learnings from this game taken into the next game in terms of the conditions?
Yeah, probably just quicker to adapt to the surface, really. Everybody included. It was obviously a little bit tough out there, just using your options, knowing your boundary options, and using them to your best ability.
And on a personal level, mate, how are you enjoying the captaincy?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good fun. Got a great bunch of lads. They're all loving being in the squad, and we've had a great time so far in New Zealand, and we're looking forward to the rest of this series.
Look forward to seeing you on Monday, mate. Good luck.
You. Cheers.
Harry Brook in conversation with Shane Bond there. Just on captaincy, because Harry Brook is captain. I was going to ask you this earlier, Harmon, and didn't get a chance. Most long-term listeners to talkSPORT 2's cricket coverage will know I have a full-on man crush on Joss Butler. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Joss Butler now doesn't have to worry about captaincy. He can worry about being Joss Butler, one of the greatest batters ever to pick up a stick of willow. In the way that Joe Root has almost gone up to another level in the Test match side, having given up the captaincy, is it possible that Harry Brook now gets an even better Joss Butler now that he doesn't have the weight of captaincy on his shoulders?
Yeah, undoubtedly. I think how I'm going to say this and what I'm going to say and the way it sounds, it might sound that I think Joss Butler's selfish. I don't think he's selfish, and I don't think Joe Root's selfish. I think the way they play, I think I would be encouraging them to bat for themselves and be themselves, because if they bat for themselves and be themselves, they'll do unbelievable things for this cricket team. And I think when Joss was captain, there was a lot of things going around. There was a lot of noise about the team getting older, and there was a lot of them getting older at the same time. Moeen Ali, Chris Woakes, Mark Wood, Ben Stokes, all in the 50-over World Cup, and they've had a little bit of a shocker. And I think Joss having that and then marrying it all together, not taking his eye off his own game, but having so much on his shoulders. I think the relief now of him not having that and him just going out and batting Joss Butler's way, I think we were probably about 10 balls away from being that one another bit of Joss Butler specialities this morning. That's what I would encourage him. I don't think he's selfish one bit. I don't think Joe Root's selfish one bit. but I think the best thing for them to be is themselves, bat for themselves. Not many people you would say, Kevin Peterson during my time, Marcus Trescothick during my time. Don't think about the team here, just go and bat for yourself. Because I know for a fact, if you bat for yourself for 60 balls in a white ball contest, Josh Buttler will win me the game. End of story. Joe Root, go and bat for yourself and bat for 90 overs, and I know for a fact you win me the game. End of contest. So I think that is what I mean. So it's not them being selfish. I just think when they were captain, they had too much on their responsibility on their shoulders. They probably got caught between a rock and a hard place on how they play and how they want their team to play and them being in it. And I think just the shackles off a little bit of relax and going into practice, preparation perfect, getting the process right, and going out and batting the way you bat in your own little bubble. I think that's perfect for Josh Buttler and for the England cricket team.
Craig Cumming, you're obviously involved in coaching now, but you've been a top order player yourself. Is that how you see you were nodding away with Harmy there?
Well, the reason I'm nodding is that I think what Harmy's saying, and I totally just trust yourself. Trust, because if Josh Buttler walks out to bat and he's got so much cricket under his belt, he's played for such a long time, and he knows his game, that his natural reaction to the way he should play on whatever surface is going to be right. Because he's had all these experience, and he'll naturally know this is a flat one, I've got to score at certain rates. And it's just trusting yourself and knowing that you're okay. And as you say, I mean, the longer he bats, if he's striking at 140, it's, you know, most other players are going to strike at 120. And you did right. And it's just saying, instead of thinking, what does the team need from me? What does my country need from me? What am I expected to do? What should I do? It just gets rid of all that extra noise away, and just trust yourself and just be yourself. And yeah, you even heard Harry Brooks said he's been premeditating too much. Now, one of the challenges the young modern cricketer have is that they've got so many options. They can ramp, they can reverse ramp. They nearly premeditate because they think, I've got to play this shot. Just trust your reactions, because your reactions, and we saw it today with Harry Brook, he just taken Neesham apart. And the game was on the knife edge there. That was about to flip and go to England's way. You know, Josh Buttler literally is 2 shots away, as you said. He could end up 100 off 60 and dominate the last 15 overs. And I think cricket is, that's what I get. I don't like the word baseball, and you know, what Brendan McCullum wants them to do as cricketers is trust their natural ability, back themselves, and be positive, because that's the way we give ourselves the best success. And I look at Josh Buttler, and yep, just if he can go out and react, I reckon he's going to react pretty well, because he's a pretty fine player.
He is indeed. Right, we've heard from the England camp. Now let's hear from the New Zealand camp. Mitch Sandler has also been speaking with Shane Bond.
Hey Mitch, it's good to see you back. How do you find the conditions today?
Yeah, there's a little bit in it, like we kind of thought, I guess, bowling first. But yeah, I think the boys, started off extremely well with a new ball. It looked pretty challenging there. So yeah, a pretty good all-round performance, to be fair. Yeah, you've got so many bowling options in your team. How does that affect the way you captain when you've got so many? Oh, it's easy, you just throw it around. But I guess if it's doing a bit like it was today, obviously Tez is a great exponent of that, Duff up front. I guess it's handy having Niche in the middle and the spin options as well. Wasn't a lot of spin, but there was enough hold, which was nice. But I think, it's nice when you can throw the ball to someone and they're able to respond.
How do you marry up playing in these sorts of conditions with the night of the World Cup in 3 months? You've obviously got a series against the West Indies coming. Are you looking at certain things you're looking to achieve going in towards that World Cup?
Yeah, I think so. I think I guess it's a building start. It's a block, for what we've got coming up, like you said. Probably playing on slightly different wickets, but again, I think India traditionally can be slow, but it also can be very flat. So I think you want a well-balanced squad going to that, Sri Lanka potentially as well. So yeah, first things first, you want to, I guess, win a series at home and in front of our home fans.
Yep. And your own personal fitness, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. I was challenged a little bit in the field tonight, but no, it feels good. So it's nice to be back, with the lads.
And looking forward to Monday's game, anything that you would do differently from a bowling point of view or you'll learn taking into that match?
No, I think, again, we pride ourselves on adapting. I mean, if the wicket does the same again, I thought we did extremely well. It could be flatter. Depends what they do with it tomorrow. But I think, we were pretty clinical there to keep, chipping wickets away. That's a massive part of T20 cricket. So I think, the power play was good. It's obviously challenging time to bowl, but the boys did an extremely good job.
Good stuff, mate. All the very best for Monday.
Cheers, Shane.
Mitch Sandler in conversation with Shane Bond after the first T20 international between New Zealand and England was abandoned as a drawn game. England were able to complete their 20 overs, posting 153 for 6, but then heavy rain came, which meant that the players couldn't get back out before the cut-off time. Loved his thoughts, by the way, Craig, there about how do you work out your bowling? Well, you just chuck it around. We got plenty of options. That is one of the things of T20 cricket, isn't it? You've got to have lots of options, but also those options have to be ready almost at a moment's notice, because if all of a sudden you get a match-up or you get a gut feel, you've got to be ready to go.
Well, the interesting thing was on this surface, Michael Bracewell and Mitch Satner were really effective as spinners. And Mitchell Satner was a really important time, but he is world class. And being able to do, I think New Zealand, and you look at it, England will be satisfied, but when you turn up, even though it was nibbling around a bit, well, a lot really, this England side, I think if you walk off at half time and they've got 150, you're going to take that 9 times out of 10, even on a surface like that, because we know, and we just said, they've got players who can just take the game away. You could easily be chasing 250. So I think New Zealand, we're probably sitting there going, yep, England will be happy. I think New Zealand were pretty satisfied, Harmy, too, because, 1 over, and it could have been 170 plus. So, he's right, Mitch Satner. And their biggest thing at the moment, they're trying to find their rhythm. We talked earlier, Neesham's back in the side. Jamison's back in playing. White ball cricket, often it's about rhythm and knowing the roles that you play. And they're still finding that out, and they challenge that. So, again, they'll be happy for the performance tonight. Yeah,
and I think if you look at their side was well balanced. You mentioned about the bowling options, but you're probably looking at Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, probably the only two that would come into that top order that had 4 good seam options. 2 good spin options. When you look at the way the bowling have lined up, the two bowlers up, the 5th and 6th bowler bowled, the 4 overs between them went for 30, so that was a job well done, because normally that's sometimes the difference between winning and losing a game. Everybody else had a very good economy rate, apart from that 1 over we talked about, which was Duffy's over went for 19. He was a difference, went for 45. Everybody else went for less than 30. So it was a clinical bowling performance on a good surface, and that's why I keep saying it would have been intriguing to see where the game would have gone, because New Zealand weren't under scoreboard pressure. They could have absorbed the game. They didn't have to go, crack hot right at the very start in that power play, that first 6 overs. But when you look at probably 3 of their top 4, they are big shot players. You look at Seifo, Robinson, Chapman, the players who will come at the ball and go for it. So it would have been intriguing to see how they went for that first power play, then adapted and got themselves in a position to second half of the contest, second half of the 20 overs, to try and win the game when there wasn't what there normally is in T20 cricket, scoreboard pressure and a score of 180 to 200.
So all very frustrating in the end, really. We got half a game, which is neither fish nor fowl, is it? You either want to finish the game or not really start it. So it's all a bit frustrating. We've basically had a glorified warm-up session. So we're going to do it all again Monday morning, 7 a.m. talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel will be back to do it all again on this same ground. It's 2 games at Hagley before the move over to the North Island for the final game of this T20 International Series. So plenty to come over the course of this series, because of course there's 3 one-day internationals as well, 3 50-over matches. So plenty of work for England to do between now and then. But disappointment today as we end up frustrated with a rained-out game. As I say, we'll be back to do it all again on Monday morning. And, of course, the following on podcast will be the place for all the fallout from Monday's game. So join us then.